day than a fishing day.
Well, do you mind if I sit down and join you?
Please join me, and I'm happy to have a chat.
Well, you know, you might be right about it being a gossiping day, Pat. Anyway, I was meaning to ask you, I just got a letter here delivered by the Pony Express. You remember the Mills family that lived in Tide Head up the Rescue?
I mind them.
Well, do you recall they had a son named Painter, and he made himself quite a name when he was a kid.
He did.
Oh, he loved hockey and Beantown's Bobby Orr, and in the winter he wore a big hat or a helmet or something with B.O. initials on the front.
You know, he was so desperate to get on a hockey team. He tried out really hard. I think it was their home team, and he went down to the arena, looked at the list, and there was his name. He'd made the cut. Well, and then he found out, ain't no cut. Everybody made it.
That's the lad.
Well,
Yeah. The family was really decent, nice salt of the earth people. Anyway, I got a cousin Madeline out west in Upper Canada.
yeah.
And she writes sometimes and tell me he's living out there now and doing all right.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, because pretty well everybody around here goes out there to make a success of themselves, except geezers like you and me.
Yeah, you got that right. Well, Pat, I guess the boy had a calling for the Lord, don't you know? And he'd become a pretty fine minister down in these parts, St. Andrews, I believe, and some churches up in Ontario was looking for a new preacher, and there wasn't a decent one to be found in that huge honking province. And so they sent a scouting party down to the ocean to just like Jesus did. And he went looking for some good fishermen disciples by the Sea of Galilee.
Good teacher himself.
And didn't they find our painter and cast their net and brought him hook, line, and sinker back to some place called Ida and Omai, I think. And there he was, and still is, by gum.
Really? Well, and Mike, I did hear that little painter, he's married now.
Already.
Yeah. Really a sweetheart of a girl, apparently. And she lived way up north. And now he's got 3 children, and they're all grown up.
Well, Pat, I think the lad was okay looking. I'm surprised he had to go so far to find somebody who would have him.
Well, I don't know how their paths crossed, but I do know he got a real gem, because she was called the Belle of Yellowknife.
No telling.
Yeah. And they had 3 charming children, and the children are all grown up. And little Jimmy Peter got his education, and then his family got their education, and now he's got 3 grown-up children, and they're all doing well.
Well, that's good. So he married up, did he, a little bit?
Well, when you figure, he started off as a garbage collector, you know. I think he went from Tide Head all the way down to the ocean. And he was picking up garbage when he was a young man.
Yeah.
And look at him now.
Yeah.
Successful clergy.
Yeah.
Well, his kids, as I understand it, Joel, he's the eldest. He's a real adventurer. He's been all over the world, and he's now got his engineering papers. Well, I don't know if it's the CN or the CP, but anyway. And then there's Laura. Now, she's a charming little girl. Takes after her mother, real beauty, and Christian love and concern and caring pouring out from every pore in her body. And she cares. Now she's working with teenagers.
Yeah.
Help them get their life.
Good for her.
Yeah, like help her get their life back on track.
Yeah.
And then there's Timothy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was a bit of a problem for a while, but he's now, well, he's got a job that is so good, pays him so much money, that he went out and bought a huge car.
Right.
Now, this may sound like I'm making this up.
Oh, no, you wouldn't do that.
No, I got this from my cousin Noah, and he's a straight shooter. Timothy's car is so big, I understand, that if you're sitting in the front seat in Ida,
Yeah.
the back seat is an Omini.
Well, that just tickles me whiskers, Pat. Now, and Pat, I heard from the Conrad family, who I know from my days in the Scotia, you know, that he's getting along just fine with the church up there. Well, the farm folk like the music, and Peter sings very well, and Tricia like a bird. And in fact, I heard that during the COVID, when people couldn't get out to the church, they, Peter, Tricia, and the kids formed a group called the Mills Family Singers, and they sang online, and I believe they may have cut a record or two. I can't say that's the gospel truth, but that's what I hear. And I also hear tell that their church won the Bishop's Award. Now, this is the Bishop's Award for Canada, for the second best small church choir in all of Canada, and they almost went to the Junos by gumbo.
A musical family, a musical congregation, that's amazing. That's amazing. But I'm glad to hear some good news, because I was hearing some things that the wolf was at the door. And Peter had run into some kind of a financial problem.
Yeah.
Now, this was kind of, patchwork together, because people sort of see something happen and then they start to think about it. So some people said, every time there's a community event at the hall, Peter's there washing dishes. As if he needed a little extra cash. Yeah, and then
He shouldn't have to do that.
no. And then there was a farmer apparently took pity on him.
Yeah.
I don't know, his name was Dickens or Dickinson,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And he hired him to fill bags of manure. So that well, and then there was another fella, Andy, who does some work down in Belize, and he hired Peter to go down there and paint fences and stuff. So I think their wolf was at the door.
Yeah, but from what I've been told of Peter, he probably worked for free, and Tricia too. The whole bunch of them Millses are good Christians. They all know and love Jesus, and Peter preaches the gospel and the old and the new parts of the Bible too.
Good for him. And I think all of them high muckety mucks, in the Diocese of Toronto.
Oh, sure.
The archdeacons and the deacons and the bishops and the archbishops and the high muckety mucks.
Probably the archangels too.
The primates and all of that. I think that they had their heads on right when they just left him there in that little parish for 16 and a half years.
Wow.
To preach the good news and to make those people into a Christian congregation. I think they did the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's stepping down now, is he?
I understand. I think the fishing bug is getting back.
Oh, probably. Yeah, probably. Well, I hear he's taken up something called the pickleball. I guess he runs around like a wild man with the youths up there in some youth group. And he did something called the cabin run, or the cabin runs, or I don't know what it was. Probably dashing through the woods to keep ahead of the wolves and bears. So our Peter is as fit as a fiddlehead.
Wow. But you have to be pickled to play pickleball.
I don't really.
I wonder, because we got some good hooch,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, a little screech wouldn't hurt.
That's right.
Well, my cousin Madeline says they're having a kitchen party for him right now to give him and the family a proper send-off. And at the end of their online high-techy church service, they wave hello to half the world. Across Canada, the British Columbia, Alberta, up north, of course, and here in the Maritimes, and California and Florida, even Bulgaria. Yeah.
Well, I never.
Well, and they had a very nice family from the Middle East join them, and another from Africa. And I tell you, they got people everywhere. And Peter and this fella named John, they had their arms outreaching everywhere.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, that's just wonderful. And I also heard something else by the grapevine.
What was that?
That congregation is so active,
Yeah.
and there's so much stuff going on, that they have to have 5 police officers in attendance at every service. They never know from all the activity if there's going to be some kind of spontaneous combustion. Oh, they actually have a resident fire chief.
Well, I hear they do a lot of cooking up there. I know that.
That's right. I think I've got something here.
Oh, you got it right.
A lunker. Gossiping's over.
Well, I tell you, if that's the fish, by the time you get to telling people about it, it's going to be twice as big, because you're quite the herring choker, Mike. Now quit your jabbering and keep quiet so as I can catch one.
I will.